Hey, shalom. How you doing? So glad you guys made it. So, I'm using a bit of a hack setup right now, so I hope everything works okay. Like I'll be drawing with my finger and some I don't want to explain all the technical weirdness that's happening and why, but at least we will be able to have class tonight, B'ezrat Hashem. Avinu Malkeinu ken yhi ratzon ki kol yeh tov be'einecha. Tishmor na otanu mikol ra. Ken yhi ratzon ki nihyeh rosh velo zanav. Anachnu me'eminim. Yeshua HaMashiach. Okay, so we are in Kohelet. That's Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 12. And let's go. Where's my mouse? Let's see if you can see my mouse. Yay. All right. Ani kohelet, or qoheleth, if it's a name. Hayiti, melech al Yerushalayim. Pardon me, Yisrael. My brain was like looking at two different words. Yerushalayim. All right. So ani, that of course is one of the pronouns. It means I. Koheleth or kohelet. So this is that word again that's like the congregationalist, right? Someone who speaks in the congregation, probably. Hayiti, I'm starting to put some more symbols here that I'm going to be using in my resource I'm making for you guys. So here we see a dashed red line. That means it's a perfect verbal form. It's a perfect form of the verb, if you like to remember that. Okay? And it says hayiti, so that's from the verb haya, meaning was. And then the T, that particular ending, this tells us, I'm writing with my fingers, so it's not too beautiful, that it's I. Okay? So hayiti, I was. So ani kohelet hayiti, I, a congregationalist, or a lot of times people just translate it kohelet because it's hard to know exactly what this means. Was. Okay. Melech, a king. Al, over. Yisrael, Israel. Birushalayim. So here we have our bait, right? That is our an inseparable preposition. Yeah, it's hard to approximate. I do it with the finger. Getting used to this. Different setup. At least we can still have class, not have to deal with equipment issues. So in Yerushalayim. And you'll notice there's no vowel underneath the yod there. Let me just zoom in for you. For those of you on cell phones. See, there's no vowel right here, right? Nothing. That's because Jerusalem starts with a yod that has a shwa under it. And we have this rule that if you put an inseparable preposition, so that's beit, kaf, or lamed, underneath, sorry, I was checking the time there, underneath, I mean, attached to a word that starts with a yod and it has a shwa there, the shwa is going to disappear and we're going to get compensatory lengthening. That yod is actually going to become part of a long chirik. And so that's what we have happening right here. So instead of bi Yerushalayim, like a lot of people would like to say, it's actually bi Yerushalayim. So in Judah, it's not be Yehuda, it's bi Huda. Right? Like Judah, ki Huda. Belonging to Judah, li Huda. Belonging to Jerusalem, li Yerushalayim, etc. Get the point? All right, so not too much to talk about there. That's verse 12. Ani kohelet hayiti. I, a kohelet, was. Melech, a king. Al, over. Yisrael, Israel. Birushalayim, in Jerusalem. All right. Next verse, verse 13, is a big one. And look at the format, the new formatting I'm using here. I think you saw a glimpse of this before. So for construct, what I'm doing is words that are in the construct, they are in a blue box, kind of a blue box. And you've seen me do this before, experimenting around with it. So hopefully you like it. One thing that will be different is that usually when there's a construct chain, I also include the last word, which is technically in the absolute. It's not in a construct. So I'm going to stop doing that, but I'll still do an outline in maybe aqua like we had been doing just for now. Okay. And what's going to be useful is you can start seeing words that maybe you never thought of as being in construct, as being in construct. For example, when we put a suffix on a word, right? Technically, you put the word in the construct and then add the suffix, right? So it's that thing of whatever. So I'll show you some examples. All right. So first we have ונתתי את ליבי לדרוש ולתור בחכמה על כל אשר נעשה tachat hashamayim. My brain's like putting what it expects under the sun. I want to say, but it's actually under the heavens. So I just put shamish in there thinking sun, but it's hashamayim. I'll try to pay more attention. Okay, so the verb here, natati, this is actually natan. And you see the dagesh here, right? There's the little dot there. This is where the noon went, the final noon from natan. And let's see if we can write this with a finger, not too badly. Natan, right? So that final noon is inside of the tav. You can think of it like that. That is why we have the dagesh there. I missed. Oh, and erase doesn't want to work. That's interesting. All right, so there's some bug happening. Erase doesn't work there. It works everywhere else, but it doesn't want to erase that one. It wants to leave my error. Fine, if that's all the imps are allowed to do today, I'm okay with that. So the T at the end, natati, this is going to show us that it's first person. So I natant, right? That's I. Again, sorry it's sloppy. I'm having to write with my fingers on the screen because for some reason stylus not working now. So natanti became natati. I gave or permitted. Okay. Venatati is not a vav conversive. So, and I permitted, I gave et, definite direct object marker here, et libi. So look, it's a construct. Why is it marked as a construct? Well, it's because of the e at the end. Let me see if I can get it. Let's see. We'll try. Really hard to just color the guy I want there. It's supposed to be a yod. So e. So that's my lave. My lave. Venatati, so I gave, I permitted, et, the definite direct object marker, the lave, so it's contract, right? So it's the lave, the heart of E. Sorry about that yod, but it's the best I can do, and you can still see it. Maybe I'll go ahead and erase that, but you can still have the yellow arrow. That might be a little more sensical. So the heart of E, my heart. Lidrosh. You might be thinking, wait a second, why is this one in construct? Well, this is what we call the infinitive construct form, right? And later you'll see you can put suffixes on there and stuff to mean like I was searching, literally the searching of me. So we have a lamed in the front of it, which we know lamed means two. And since I can't mark so well, I'm just going to try to kind of circle him today, okay? Two. Darash. You guys know the verb, the verbal root darash? Dalit. Reish. Shin. Darash. Darash is to seek, to look for, right? Like we call a sermon a drash. Some people say midrash. I hear a lot of times messianics doing this, saying, "Oh, that was a nice midrash you shared today." That's not correct. That's not how we use that word. Okay, a midrash is a legend, right? Like an explanatory legend, like a cultural story that we have, right? The famous one of the famous ones, since we're counting the Omer now. So during Pesach we had when the Israelis were singing the song at the sea because the ocean had come down and crashed and killed all of the Egyptian soldiers. The malachim, the angels in heaven, also started singing and celebrating. And Hashem got mad at them. He says, "Why are you singing while my creatures, the Egyptians, are drowning?" Right? And the angels say, "The Israelis are celebrating. They're singing." And Hashem says, "They are celebrating because they've been saved. You have not just been saved, so you don't get to." Right? Showing his sensitivity and his love even for the Egyptians. He doesn't want, just like we read in the Basorat Yochanan, that he doesn't desire that anyone would perish, but he wants to save everyone. It's really a nice midrash, but that's a midrash. That's not a sermon. Right? A sermon is called a drash, a drash. Well, it's really drash. We just call it drash. It's been anglicized. Okay, not a midrash. So when you hear a nice sermon, you don't say, "Oh, nice midrash." No, I know some messianic leaders, quite a few, they call it a midrash. It's just a lack of understanding there of the Hebrew. Okay, all right. So lidrosh is to seek or to search for. So ונתתי את libi, I permitted my heart lidrosh to seek out, to search for, velet and latul. Tul is like searching around, going around, examining, right? This is the same verb that the spies did when they went to the land of Israel. You can think of tour as touring around, right? And again, we have the lamed, same as over here. Lamed, to do it. And I'll just try to, nope, that's not going to work. It's way offset. I really wish I could zoom in and mark that. Let's see. Sorry, hit the vav a bit. I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, that's another two. All right, okay. And the vav, and the la, to around, to search around. A nice Hebrew parallelism with drash, to search and to search, right? Bachakhmah. So we have another inseparable preposition. Bait. Ah! Getting the hang of it. Deal with me here. Bear with me here. At least we're going to still have class. We might not be so classy, but we will have class. Okay. So bait usually means in, like, among, with, etc. Okay. It's not fitting. We'll just make it in. Oh, and look, the delete is really weird. Okay. In chokhmah. Searching for chokhmah. Chokhmah, wisdom. And you'll notice this bait, it's got a patach under it. Right? Bachakhmah. So this is actually, it's kind of hard to recognize. This is telling us there's a definite article here. So like in the wisdom or among the wisdom, searching for the wisdom or the wise things perhaps. Because when you have a chait and you want to put a hay in front of it, the hal, we just put patach under there. Unless there's a kind of special rule that sometimes it's different. Okay. Zoom out, not working. Okay. Al, concerning, literally on top of, upon, but it oftentimes has the meaning of concerning. Kol asher na'asa. Kol, everything, or all. Asher, this is the relative pronoun. Usually it means which or who. It can have other meanings like when, where, etc., but that's not as often. Na'asa. What in the world is na'asa? So the verbal root should be pretty easy to recognize by now. Ayin, seen, and hey, right? We know asa, to do or to make. Okay? But look, we have this noon in front of it. What in the world is going on with that? So this noon is actually marking the nifal binyan. So we have the red underline because it's perfect, right? Usually perfect renders as a past in English, right? It's the perfect form of the verb. And the noon is telling us it's passive, right? So, bachakhmah, he's searching for the wisdom, all concerning kol asher, everything which na'asa, which has been done. or which is done. Let me zoom in there for you cell phone people, just in case. Cell phone people. It's like a new kind of race. Na'asa, which is done. Tachat. Tachat. You should remember this word. If you didn't learn the mnemonic before that I taught you, here is a nice way to remember it. In Ashkenazi pronunciation of Hebrew, when you have a tav like this, and there's no dagesh in it, there's no dot. If there's a dot, it's a T, right? But if there's no dot, it's an S sound. That's why you get Shabbos, right? Because Shabbat is spelled without a dagesh there. So you can see in ancient Hebrew it was a TH, right? Shabbath. That's how, and then it came into Aramaic. A sheen often becomes an S sound in Aramaic, Jewish Aramaic. So Shabbath became Sabbath, and there you have it. I think the Shabbath, right? Very easy to kind of trace. That's why it's funny to me when people are like, we don't know what Yeshua's name really was. Was it Yahushu? Was it Yashuhu? Was it Yahushuhu? Yahushua? No, we know. We know. We know. It's so obvious because we see it coming into other languages and we know the rules of how Hebrew goes into Aramaic and into Arabic, right? In Aramaic, it's very clear. A Hebrew sheen either becomes a tav or a sin. So in Arabic, the Arabs today, they call Yeshua Yeshua. Yeshua. Right? It's so clear to get back to Hebrew from there. It's not like some big mystery. Was it Yahshua? Was it Yahshu? Was it Yahshua? Yashahua? Yashu? All these funny things the Hebrew roots guys do with his name. And all those names, please don't do it, guys. A lot of these names, I had to ban a guy from commenting because there was this one pastor. I know you watch my channel still. You're welcome to keep learning, Achi, but I had to ban you from comments because you kept using that heretical name for him. Even though I taught you that, I left you on for a year with all the argumentative stuff. I didn't mind. It's nice on the pushback, but you just kept, with a tudon and a todon, all these weird Arabicized pronunciations of Hebrew, trying to make Hebrew into Arabic. But calling him that name that you're using, it means God got saved. And that's just a heretical name for anybody to have. God doesn't need to be saved, does he? So, um, clearly not Hebrew. But anyway, so we know what his name was. We can see how it goes into Greek. It follows the rules as well, and into Aramaic, and into Arabic, and into Coptic, and into Latin. It's all very predictable, very easy to reconstruct. Not to mention that we have other people named Yeshua in the Bible. Right? We have a priest, and it's a very common name in the first century. So archaeologists, Hebrew scholars, they have no doubt that his name was Yeshua. All right, so you don't need to fight about these. Don't make controversy where there is none. Okay, get informed. And if someone's insisting on this to you, I challenge you. I challenge you to ask where they learned that, and then find that guy and ask where he learned that, and keep going. And I guarantee you, it's not from someone who's fluent in Torah Hebrew. All right, it's probably someone who can just barely read and not understand what they're reading. Many of you are probably far advanced beyond that already. Okay, so please, enough of the nonsense, can we? All right, so tachat in Ashkenaz pronunciation would have been tachas, tachas, and this is where Yiddish we get the word tuchus, tuchus, right? Your butt, right? Or the diminutive tushy, like a little butt, like on a kid or something, tushy, tuchus, right? So that's a way you can remember. Tachat means under. Tachas in Ashkenaz pronunciation, tachas is a tuchus. Your tuchus is under you, right? So you sit on something that's under you. Anyway, nice way to get a free vocabulary word. If you didn't know that, most English speakers have heard of a tuchus before. Kick him in the tuchus. So, all right. Na'asa tachat, which is done under the shamayim, under the heavens. And I'm not going to colorize our right now as in red, but you can see there it is. From the ancient word hal, which meant the, and we have the dot inside the sheen where the lamed assimilated. So hal shamayim became hash shamayim. There are two sheens here. So shamayim is sky, heavens, right? The view into outer space, the heavens, everything which is done under the heavens. Okay, actually, let me zoom out so you can see the whole thing. Yeah, why is my zoom out not working? That's a little irritating. Okay, fine. Oh, okay, back. And we're back. Kind of nice. I can pause now when I drink. All right. Continue on. Oops, sorry. Who? So who means he, right? Who is he? Yes. No, I'm asking you, who is he? Yes. Kind of like who's on first. In Hebrew, who means he. And I always love this one because who is he? He means she. Ma, like your mother. Ma means what? um, a dog. Dog means fish. And if you know Russian, it's even better. Ani means I in Hebrew, but in Russian it means they. So you can have a lot of fun with those. So who is he or it, right? It more generally. It is, we have to imply is, it's not here. Inyan. Inyan is like a business, a dealing, a matter, an affair, right? So it is a business, an affair. And notice it's construct, right? So usually I would have extended this. Maybe I'll mark it the way I usually would have. The way that we've been doing it until now, I would extend our construct like this, right? I'd say, right? I would have put a box on the whole thing, right? And then that last word, we look if it's definite or not. So, and it's true that if you count these as construct chains, you do include the last word, the word that's in the absolute. Though I'm not putting it in blue here anymore because technically that last word is not in the construct state. It's in the absolute state, which is the normal dictionary form. So, inyan, a business, a dealing of ra. It is a bad deal. What is? Tachat, hashamayim, everything that's under the sun, or under the heavens. I keep doing that. Who inyan ra? It is a bad dealing, a bad affair. Natan, and we have the red dashed underline showing it's a perfect verb again. Again, usually 90% of the time, perfect in Hebrew is going to map to past tense in English. Okay? Don't be confused if you've studied modern Hebrew dialect, where this is pretty much always a past tense. It is not in the Bible, all right? It's not really past tense. It's really perfect. It's a perfect, meaning a completed action. So you will find prophecies where this is used. Or this is another point against counter missionaries. Yeah, I had this one guy telling me, this one apostate telling me, oh, this, this guy out in Arizona, well, not just me, he's trying to tell a lot of people this. He's like, look, the prophecy about the virgin who's going to conceive, it's hara. It means she already was pregnant when this was written. And this was just because I know he went to Israel and he studied modern Hebrew. He didn't really study biblical Hebrew. That's true. In modern Hebrew, it looks like she already conceived. But everybody knows that's the prophetical perfect. Even the sages interpret that as prophetical perfect. So, hara in that case, and it gets translated into Greek as a future, right, as we would expect. So, the perfect sometimes is a prophetical form. Why? There were some prophecies that Hashem has the prophet speak them, and there's no changing them. The idea is it's sealed. So this is really makes so much sense when you understand the biblical Hebrew grammar. It's so beautiful. The idea is that hashamayim haaretz, the creator of the heaven and the earth, the one who is outside of time and space, for him, it's sealed, it's done. So there's no difference between a past and a future event if it's not changeable. It's a fact. So the perfect is really more like it's a fact. And I don't mean to confuse Greek people with indicative mood or something like that. That's not what I mean. But it's like it's how it is. It's sealed. Maybe think of it as being sealed, right? So the perfect can be used for future, especially when we're talking about something that's sealed. That's why I don't like people to think of these as past, but you can. Even Rashi will talk about it as past. I mean, not Rashi. Even Israel will even talk about these as past tenses and stuff. It just bothers me a little bit because we know quite a bit more about the linguistics now, and that's not what it is. Yeah, it's a perfect, it's a completed action, and then you won't be confused later when it's being used for the future, as long as you keep your mind open to this. So when you see that red underline, think of it as like a stop sign. It's completed. Okay, maybe that was in the past, maybe it's in the future. There is another rare form that shows up in wisdom literature and in Tehillim, where it's what we call a precative perfect, where it's a soft way to make a request to God. It's kind of philosophical. It's it's a little bit like the optative in Greek, by the way, for Debs and those of you who are doing Greek. It's like, oh, that you would do this, Lord, right? Oh, that it would be. It's softer than an imperative, right? So I could say like natata, natati, not pardon me, natata et oevaili, or natati et oref oyevai. Oh, that you would give the napes of the necks of my enemies, right? Meaning that you'd give them to me, right? That I'm seeing the backs of their necks because they're running away, right? So it doesn't mean you gave. A lot of times people, they have enough Hebrew and they're dangerous, and then they'll try to translate the psalm and they say, like, you gave, you did that. I think King James even translates this way, right? Like, you did it already. But it's really a precative perfect. It's this kind of more advanced form. By the way, if the indexers wouldn't mind making mention of these precative perfects, sorry if we're past the time code already. You don't have to. Just if you do, it'd be nice to have that indexed. All right. Natan Elohim. God has given or has permitted, again, like we had up above at the ונתתי, like I permitted libi, my mind, lidrosh, ולתור, to seek and to search out, bachakhmah, the wisdoms, al kol asheir na'asa, concerning everything which is done, tachat hashamayim, under the heavens, under the sky. But it is an inyan ra, a bad deal, a bad business. Natan Elohim, God has permitted livnei ha'adam. And again, here we'd usually mark the whole thing as construct chain. So I'll just do that as we're getting used to the changing notation. This will be good because it'll kind of move you into the way that my books are going to be to help you guys out for doing more readings on your own. So, and the lamed, of course, is inseparable preposition lamed. 2 or 4. B'nai, so that's from banim. B'nai, children of, here v'nai, just because the makes it, the bagad kefat dagish go away. The children of ha-adam, right? So we have ha, so it's definite, right? Of the man. So the children of man, right? That definiteness needs to carry over to the whole chain, right? So again, the reason only the first word has the blue box around it is because that's the only one that actually is in the construct, right? The last word in the construct chain is always in the absolute, which is why you can have a ha on it. You can have this guy because a construct cannot have a ha on it. Okay, cannot be marked definite. It's only made definite by the last word, the one in the absolute being definite. Let me just zoom in for any of our cell phone users. Okay, hopefully that's enough. So Natan Elohim, God gave, literally God has permitted livnei ha'adam, to the children of men. Don't translate the sons of men because he's talking about humanity here, right? It's true that banim can mean sons, right? Like ben ha'elohim, the son of God, right? But we also have bnei ha'elohim, the sons of God in Job, right? So you just need to be careful with it. It can mean children, like Bnei Israel, the children of Israel. We don't say the sons of Israel. That's not really a proper translation. Okay. La'anot, bo. So here we have another lamed. So that's an inseparable preposition. I'll try to mark it here with my thumb. It will just mark like that. 2, so this is an infinitive form. 2, the verb is a bit hard to recognize. It's amna, ayin, nun, hey, and the hey has gone away. Lamed hey verb. Amna or inna is to subdue, to oppress, to humble, right? So to humble, bo, him, literally in him, and that's just the way that verb likes to take the object there is with a bait and the suffix there. So if it had been humbling you, it'd be la'anot becha or bach, talking woman, right? La'anot banu, humbling us, etc. Lo aleinu. Okay, let me just see how long we've been going. Okay, I think I'll do one more verse because we had our technical problems last night. So some of you I know missed out a bit and feel missed out on it. So and we also had the Monday issue too. So let's go ahead and we'll do one more verse. Let's make it a bit longer today. All right, verse 14, and this will be the last one. It says, hold on, where's my cursor? Come on. There we go. Hayiti. Hayiti. And notice we've got the red dashed lines. This is a perfect. That that tav and yod at the end is telling you this is first person, meaning I. So what is our verb then? I would like to colorize it, but I really can't with my thumb. So resh, aleph, and then we're missing the hey from the end, the hey. So it's resh, aleph, hey, which is to see. So hayiti is I saw, or I have seen. Oops. Why is it doing that? It was letting me touch the screen with my laser pointer before. Fine, we'll just do it like this. Hayiti, I have seen et, the definite direct object marker, kol hama'asim. And notice we have our construct marking here, but the last word isn't because the last word in the construct chain is not in the construct, but I'll use my familiar notation we've been using. The whole thing is a construct chain, okay? And you'll note we have the definite article here, right? So this guy, he's the, right? And you have the dagesh in the mem as well. So, hayiti, I've seen et kol, all of the ma'asim, the works. The root here is ayin, seen, hey, and the hay's gone away. And remember, you put a mem on there, it's something that the verb does usually, or sometimes it's a doer of the verb. So, all of the works, all the things done. She na'asu. We have another dashed line, red line here, meaning it's a perfect verb. All right. Now I'm going to have to zoom out. Sorry. So we can, hopefully I'll find some tool sometime so that I can stay zoomed in and colorize stuff. So our root again is ayin, seen, and a hey. The hey's gone away, which means the ending of the verb, we have the nice oo here. See the oo? And when you have an oo at the end, that means they. All right. And we have a preposition here. Actually, the sheen, this helps us to recognize this as a later biblical Hebrew form. That's short for asheir. Let's see if I can draw with my finger, if I can write. I won't do the vowels, all right? It's just too little. Asheir. Okay? So asheir can prefix itself. This has survived even into modern Hebrew dialect. So sher, which, then what's that noon? If it's asu, they did, well, the noon is showing us that this is a nifal binyan. It's in the nifal. I'll just put N for nifal, okay? Which means it's passive. So asu is they did, na asu is they were done, right? They've been done. The she, well, that's, I did asha instead of asher. Why did I? Oh, I did. It is a share. Never mind. The line made it look like it's something else. Let me just circle that in yellow to make sure it's clear. Asher, not asa. The other was just an arrow. So she, which na'asu are done, tachat. Again, under of hashamish. So we have another construct chain here. Okay. So clearly, the first word is the one that's in the construct form, tachat. Right? Under of hashamayim. Pardon me, hashamish. No, but before when it said hashamayim, I wanted to say hashamish. Now it says hashamish, I want to say hashamayim. Anyway, the, ha is the, shemesh is the actual word, but because of our etnachta here, it gets lengthened to a ah, to comments. So ha shamish. So everything which is done, tachat under hashamish, the sun. Vehine, and behold, and look. Probably this is a vav emphaticum. I think I'll treat it that way. Instead of saying and, this is just, I believe, it's a vav emphaticum. So it's an emphatic vav, meaning he's an exclamation point. Like, look! Believe me. Hakol hevel. Hakol. The kol. The everything. Doesn't sound good in English, but that's what it says in Hebrew. Kind of further emphasizing, making it more of an emphatic. We get the emphatic vav, so like exclamation point. Hine is also kind of exclamation point. Behold! Look! Ha-kol, the all, the everything. And now we have to say is in English to make it make sense. Hevel. Hevel is a vapor. Everything is a mist. Everything is a vapor. You can't even grasp it with your hands, right? Ra'ut. Ra'ut, we have another construct chain here. So, Ra'ut, this is, well, so it's from Ra'ah number 3, right? So, Ra'ut, it's related to Aramaic Ra'utho, which is like pleasure or desire. So, some understand it to be like rayon, where we get the word for idea in Hebrew coming from Aramaic, like something that is a striving, right? The word is only used in a few places in Tanakh, and I think it's all in Kohelet. So it's part of his dialect, right? I don't think we find it anywhere else. It's generally understood to be an Aramaic word that made its way into Hebrew, right? So anyway, so let's go here. So U and A. Now, why is that U? Why is it a, okay, it doesn't want to give me my laser pointer back. Oh, well, we just have a little dot there. Maybe if I zoom in. Can't zoom either. Oh, I think PowerPoint has died. Okay, so I won't be drawing anymore. Good timing. And a striving, or like a desire, a yearning of ruach, of wind. It's all, now you could say of spirit, right? Like what the spirit wants. But I think because of Hebrew parallelism, and sorry I can't mark parallel markers here, because hevel, we have mist, right? Like vapor here. Everything is vapor. Then I think it makes sense with parallelism that it's going to be wind, right? And a striving or a yearning of ruach, of wind. Very nice poetic form there. And maybe we'll just go through the slides one more time and be done. Oh, if it'll let me. If it will let me. Let's see. Maybe it will let's try. Let's try. Okay, I can at least turn slides. Wonderful. And now it's doing it. Ani kohelet, or ani qoheleth, if you want to read it with the ancient pronunciation. I am a koheleth, assembly leader. Hayiti, I was melech al Yisrael, over a king over Israel. Or koheleth, I was a king over Israel. Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem. Verse 13, Venatati et libi. Now I set my mind to. That's another way you could say it. Interesting. I'm glad I said set now. I like that better than what I was saying. I was saying permitted, or gave. I set my mind, that was just natural, lidrosh, to searching, velator, into seeking out, bachakhmah, the wisdom, al kol asheir na'asa, over everything which is done, tachat, hashamayim, under the heavens. And I should have made that a construct chain line there. Who it is? Inyan ra. It's a bad deal. Natan Elohim. God has permitted or given livnei ha'adam, to the children of men, to human beings, la'anot bo, in order to subdue him, to humble him, or to oppress him. Not to rape. The word can mean rape. That's not what it means here. Verse 14. ראיתי את כל המעשים שנעשו תחת השמים. Pardon me, hashamash. I keep doing it. ראיתי, I have seen all המעשים, the works, all the things שנעשו, which are done תחת השמש, underneath the sun. והנה, behold, hakol, all of it is hevel, is a vapor. Ugra'ut ruach, and a yearning, or a, like a desire, a striving of ruach, of wind. Something you can't really put your hands on. All right, I hope you guys have an excellent day. Please keep praying for this ministry. I'm praying for all of you. May you be blessed exceedingly. And don't give up on your biblical Hebrew. It's so worth it. Trust me, folks. There have been many times in my own life when life was not going well. I remember those some difficult times, and I was like, I understand the Bible. I understand the prophetic language. Nobody can take that away from me. So I want you to all have it too. Be blessed. Shalom, shalom.